Hello designers! Welcome to your first lesson. In this lesson we'll create a beautiful, elegant, black and white invitation. I'm calling a classic invitation. And it'll be type only, but we'll use that type to create one little special extra touch with a monogram. As I mentioned before in the introduction video, you'll need a Google account and then you'll need to go to Google Slides. So do that, sign in, and meet me in Google Slides. So we're in Google Slides. The journey of thousands of invitations begins with a single click. So meet me here at this plus sign and click. We're going to start a new presentation. For us, it's a document. And the first thing we want to do is title this. So let's change untitled presentation to Classic Wedding Invitation. And then the next thing we'll do is I want to do the page setup first. So come up to File with me, go down to Page Setup, and click that widescreen and scroll down to Custom. And we're going to make this 525 by 725. I generally make most of my invitations. The final invite will be 5 by 7. And even though this one doesn't have any artwork bleeding off or color bleeding off, I want to go ahead just to set it up for 5.25 by 7.25, giving a little extra room. And then before we print, if we want to take that off, we can. So click Apply. And then the next thing we do is you could use these text boxes. I like to stay just totally clean, so let's get rid of these. Just click on them and hit your delete button. And so now we can go up to Insert, Text Box, and you're just gonna click on the page anywhere for that to appear. Now, I want to open the panel format options, but I don't see it up here. And that's because this panel, see this themes? Let's quit out of that. That's in my way. And now here's my format options button. I want to click on that. You'll use format options a lot. It's kind of what helps Google Slides become less like a presentation software and more like a design software. So let's go to click down size and rotation, and we're going to make this text box 5 by 7. And that's great, except we want it centered on our page. So I love this feature. Head up to Arrange, Center on Page horizontally, and let's do it again. Arrange, Center on Page vertically. And ta-da! That's section 1 of 3 of our first invitation. So we'll need to copy and paste your text. You can pick it up from the PDF of your worksheet. I'll try to have another resource in there, or you could just type it in. We'll use some version of this text a lot. So I'm just going to paste my plain text in there, and I'm going to select all. I'll tell you a lot during our time together. You need to learn your shortcuts. You can always go to Edit, Select All, and see the shortcut here. For me, because I'm on a Mac, it's Command A. And for PC users, it'll be Control A, I believe. So I've selected all, and I'm going to come up to this text here and center. So I'm going to center my whole text, and then I'm going to keep that selected all. This is something we're going to use a lot. It's line spacing. The space between your line is really part of what separates the small designers from the big time designers. The one limitation that Google Slides has is you can't track the text in or out, but you can do it up and down between the lines. So I play around a lot with the line spacing, and we're going to come down to line and paragraph spacing, go to custom spacing. And I arrived at 1.5 for this particular invitation. So we're going to put a little air between all that. This time, take your cursor, and we're only going to select the text up until reception. Leave those bottom 3 lines blank, or don't select them for now, I should say. So now we're going to treat this text, and the first thing we're going to do is go to Format, Text, and go all the way down to capitalization, and we're going to make everything uppercase. So clean and pretty, but let's go one more step and change our font. We're going to make this Spectral Light. Now, I use Spectral a lot, so it's already up top. You may have to scroll down here and go all the way to the S's, Or if you don't see it, click on more fonts and you can type in spectral and it will pop up. If for some reason your region doesn't have spectral light, it's a pretty classic serif font. You could use any sort of serif font. Serif means with the feet. So it's up to you, but I am going to use spectral light for this block of text. And we're going to change this font size. You have to click in where the number is, where this 9 is, to 8.5. Now, why 8.5? Why not 8? Why not 9? I just did it. I printed it out. It looked the best at 8.5. 9 was a little too big. 8 was a little too small. So that's where we landed with this one. So we have this done, and now we want to add some paragraphs. So put your cursor next to the word children and just hit your return key, not your return T. And I must have T on my mind. And then insert your paragraph, take it to evening, the word evening, and then just a return key there. And then we're going to do one more paragraph after Savannah, Georgia, and click there. And by the way, all of this text is made up. It's not anybody I know or a wedding I've seen. And that's the best thing to do for your sample invitations. Just you're creating an invite anyway, create a whole world. Who's getting married? Where are they getting married? Why this particular design for this invite? Next, let's work on our bottom text. We are going to highlight reception, the bottom 3 lines. And this font is going to be much different than our other font. I apologize to my French speakers. Monsieur la Dulace, I think it is. I also use this font a lot. It's my favorite script font of Google Slides. If they don't have this exact font, just find whatever script you like. Remember, it's all lots of playing around. And for now, I got lucky because we just need this to be 18 points. And that, as you can see, was one of my options. Let's click off that and just highlight the bride and groom's names. We're going to make them 28 points, which is not one of my options. So you can type 28 in, or what I like to do is just find the closest number, use my plus or minus keys, in this case minus, and now we're down to 28. Are you starting to see it come together? Oh, it's so pretty already. Now I have a note for you in the worksheet that says, for selecting, this is also a great time saver, and it just ensures you get what you need. I'm going to click 3 times and it gets my whole bride's name and her paragraph. Again, with the shortcut keys, you can go to edit and cut. Much faster though to learn. Command X or Control X. I am going to paste this above 2, meaning I'm going to put the cursor right in front of 2 right there. And then again, edit, paste, Control or Command V. So let's do that. Beautiful. And now let's do the same thing with the groom. Come down, 3 clicks. Let's cut this. And this one we want to put after 2. So I'm going to put actually my cursor before Saturday, paste that in. That's great, but you can see already we have a spacing issue. This space here and this space here feel fine, but this space is not equal between the name and the 2. So what we're going to do about this is select the groom 3 times, come back up to Format, Line Spacing, go back to Custom Spacing. We're not going to change the line spacing. We're going to add 8 before and watch what happens. Beautiful. So now everything is spaced out perfectly. Your eye almost can see, if you stand back a little blocks of where things should be. That is your second section, and that was the most difficult. And look how beautiful it looks. All we're going to do now is add 1 small monogram, and you have created your first beautiful wedding invitation right in Google Slides. So let's hop over to section 3. Text-based invites are very popular and make up a large percentage of wedding sales. I like to have a great type-based invite and then do a little something on top, a monogram, a little flower. Maybe the couple has something that's special to them, an icon or a tiny piece of clip art. So I love to use this top bar we're going to use to make this special monogram. So come up and put your cursor right in front of Mr. And we're going to insert 4 paragraphs with your return key. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to stick our cursor on the second line. So not the top paragraph, but the second one. And let's just type in capital C. We're going to do the bride and groom's first initials. C space. We're going to put what's called a bar, and I think it's also called a pipe. And you're going to hit your shift key and then this funky little reference your worksheet, this sort of backslash over it's over my return key. It might be in a different area. So shift backslash, and put that pipe in there, and then an M. All right. So now let's click 3 times and select these. And we're going to, if it'll let me click 3 times, 1, 2, 3, there we go. And we're going to do 24 points, which is a standard size. There we go. We're actually going to change just the pipe in the middle here to spectral ultra, is it ultralight, extra light? And we're going to go all the way up to 36 so that we know you could also add a line if you wanted to just add some spaces and adding a line. And this would be great, except there's one little tiny thing. See how this bar, if you look at the handle, this bar does not line up with the handle on top of it. So what I'm going to do is a little cheat. I'm going to add a space, and that looks closer, except for it's too much space now. I'm going to change the font to 14. So I'm actually only changing the size of the spaces. And that to me just feels a little closer. The C and the M are fine, and this is pretty centered with that. Congratulations! You've already designed your first beautiful wedding invitation in Google Slides. I want to keep going, so I will see you for invitation number 2.